Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
I had something so funny to say when we weren't recording, and now we're recording, and now it's gone. What? Oh, no. Okay, I know what I was going to say. I have had so many conversations with all of my coworkers throughout the past 2 months of me being there, and they're like, so what do you like? And I'm like, oh, well, I do this and this and this, and they're like, oh, yeah, and so I asked them about their hobbies, and they're like, I love podcasts. I'm like, do you? Interesting topic that you bring up there, Jeremy.
I'm listening.
It definitely piques my interest, and so I asked them, like, okay, well, what kind of podcast do you like? And then they just say Serial every time.
That's the only podcast.
Oh, they're like, have you heard? And I'm like, all right. That's so weird. I hear there's a ghost calling my name. Sorry, I need to return back to my time.
Sorry, I have, like, a lot of business to attend to right now.
And it's awful because, like, don't get me wrong. Everybody listened to Serial Season 1. Like, it's great or whatever. But there is so much, like, hi, welcome to podcasts. Like,
Whoa.
there's, obviously, if you're here, you know the niche land. But, like, Jesus, there is more than that. And so it just made me sad. I was like, oh, okay, well, enjoy, I guess.
All right. Well, do you like Twilight and or 50 Shades of Grey?
Anyway, who said that? That was weird. Weird
Sorry,
thing.
I think I got possessed.
It's a weird thing that just happened.
Yeah.
There are so many more students of mine that are reading Twilight, and it makes me very happy. In, like, a terrified way, you know? In the way that, like, parents get.
Right. Like, oh, don't hurt yourself. Please be safe.
Yeah, please be safe. All of a sudden, though, when I was talking to one of my students about middle school books earlier this week, I had this epiphany to this series that I loved and read all the time when I was a kid. Did you ever read the TTYL series?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so I've been
Yes.
so tempted to put that into my library, but I have a feeling that one of my kids might come up and be like, what's an away message? And then I'm gonna
What?
die right on the floor.
Yeah, I actually, I refound those books, like,
Oh my God.
when I visited, like, my mom's house or whatever, and I was like, oh, let me just, like, peek through and see, because I remember fucking loving those books. I was like, alright, let me just, like, crack her open, see what's up.
Mhm.
And, like, immediately right out the gate is, like, rampant transphobia, and I'm like, sick, this
Oh
did not
my
age
God.
well, even a little bit.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but for the time, very impactful on a young me. On the World Wide Web, just
For real.
being a teen online.
There were so many things in that book series that stood out to me and, like, fundamentally changed the way that I existed as, like, a 6th grader.
Yeah.
But one of the things, I swear to God, every time that I think about those books, isn't all the, like, talk about lockers and cute people in homeroom.
Sure.
It's the time where one of them was talking about period farts. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I swear to God, Cody, I've never been able to forget. Like, when I think of the TTYL books, I'm like, oh yeah, period farts. It's awful. That's an awful association to have.
Absolutely. Wow, this is the earliest we've gotten an episode title in a while.
Hi, welcome to Into the Twilight, where we talk about vampires and period farts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't believe we haven't talked about period farts when we talked so extensively about vampires.
Yeah. I mean, the court, like, it's there. Can't you see it? I don't even need to get my red yarn out. Like,
Yeah.
it's there.
I mean, but she will.
I will. I
She'll
have
American
it.
Vandal this whole fucking situation.
The poop culprit is here.
Who did the period fart? Who was it?
Oh my god. Cody, how the hell are you?
I'm great.
Great.
It's fucking winter in Chicago now. We had like a nice second of fall. She's gone. Rest in peace. Now it's fucking winter. Bundle up. Get some fucking hand warmers. Let's go.
Oof.
Let's fight outside. Don't slip on the ice. But there's still pumpkins and like seasonal shit, and it's very like spooky. But nope. No more fall. Fall's over.
Is it that see your breath kind of weather?
It's close. It's close.
Oof.
It's not quite there yet, but we're in that territory for sure.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
It's always funny because there are things in a lot of the CTA, which is the transit system, the subway system in Chicago.
Sounds like a musical artist.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as CTA. Yeah. A lot of the train stops are elevated, so they're not underground. Like, some of them are underground, but a lot of them are just, like, above ground, and they go, like, above the city.
I have seen that about
Yeah,
that
it's
area.
fucking tight. It's really cool. But because of that, a lot of times you're waiting for the train. You are outside.
Ooh.
And there are little, like, heat lamps that, like, the government so nicely, like, provides for, like, a month over the course of a million-year-long winter. And they're always like, oh, November 1st, that's when they're going to start working. And every single year, it's like, October, they need to start right now.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Why... Hey, you're our resident weather expert.
Yep.
Why weather do that?
Can
Why-
we, like, call in Chris? Can we...
And I'm so thankful you asked Chris on the phone, our resident motherfucker in the clouds.
He lives there.
I just always imagine Chris as, what was that? What is that fucking Nintendo character that lives on a cloud?
Oh, I don't know its name, but yes.
That is Chris. Like, he
Yeah.
just, like, lives on a cloud. It's just,
Whenever I think of Chris, I think of that Vine where it's like two people listing their favorite clouds, and they say different ones, and they're like, that's how I knew we couldn't be friends.
Oh my god, that's so good. So, but hey, why weather do that though?
Good
Why
question.
Midwest? Why is the Midwest like that?
Yeah, Midwest is not a great weather spot, for sure.
Is it why? Now I just feel like that priest vibe. I'm just like, why?
I wish I had any of the answers for you.
Get back to me?
Yeah, I'll think about it. Yeah, I'll do some research. I'll see, why does Chicago do this? Why does the Midwest? Why?
Why? I have started putting in photos, well, GIFs really, of Owen Wilson, Jesus Christ, saying wow.
Yep,
into
sure.
my PowerPoints.
Okay.
Because apparently I sarcastically say wow a lot and my students don't like it. And so I just started to like lean into the bit and be very self-referential about it.
That's really funny.
It's just, sometimes you just see a kid try to dab while leaning back in his chair and he falls over and it's just like, wow, like, great.
Sure.
I have to deal with this today. So, just the usual.
You know how it is.
Yeah. You know how they do.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you about our middle school corner today.
Please, God.
There's always so much. I really should keep a note in my phone specifically for it of the ones that are interesting.
Sure.
But here's the one for today. It's very related to what we were talking about before the pod. My 7th graders are learning about the bubonic plague right now. And so I made up a role-playing game for them today, very Oregon Trail style, to see if they would survive. And when my kids realized, they were like, two of them literally looked at each other, high-fived, and were like, yes, death! And I've never related to anything more in my whole life.
Yeah, that's a big ol' schmood.
So that was very good. And I enjoyed that a lot. Just these 12-year-olds screaming because they're getting ready to see whether they live or die. And I loved that a lot. Thought it was kind of pure.
I love that.
Yes. Also, it's so close to Halloween, which is very exciting.
Yeah. Welcome to Spooktown.
For real. I am going back to Portland this weekend, which is
Love
fun
it.
current events news. And
Yeah.
I will be going back to my Chris's hometown, which is, for me, Forkstown. right?
Sure.
But for the rest of the world, during this time of year, they know it as Halloween Town. Because that is where the infamous Halloween Town was filmed.
Sure.
And so I will be in that pumpkin this weekend, and I'm very excited about it. So
that's great.
The spooks are here, and they are alive, and I am very excited. We have our own version of spooks to talk about today in the form of current events, which is very good. Where would you like to start today?
Oh boy, let's start with our man, Ketchup Extraordinaire. Passport.
I couldn't put his real name in the notes. It just didn't feel appropriate.
And it wouldn't be appropriate. His name is Ketchup Man.
His name
Once you make the decision to tattoo a 2-scale ketchup bottle on your leg, you refuse all right to be addressed by your actual name. That's just the law.
Yeah, that's true. You're either your Ketchup Man, your Heinz guy, your Tomato Boy. Like, take your
boy.
You're one of them, but you're definitely not your first name anymore. Is the goddamn truth.
Yep.
So the news about good old Jackson Rathbone is this. As we all know, and by the time that this comes out, I will have already been to the movies to go see the 10th anniversary of Twilight.
Amazing.
So, patrons, you're in for a treat.
Yeah,
already.
Hop on our Patreon for exclusive content. Billy on the street.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Allie's gonna get a ketchup tattoo.
Oh
Live.
I would. That would not take much money for me to do that. Here's the problem, though. I would never, for any amount of money, I would never eat mayonnaise, but I would get a ketchup bottle tattooed on me.
Oh my god.
Just,
we all have limits, I guess.
Yeah, and that is a hard one for me. So here's the news about Jackson. As we all know, the 10 years of Twilight are here. They are upon us. And that means that everybody in the universe is talking. Everyone in the Twilight universe is talking. But I mean, everybody in the universe is also talking about Twilight. Can you imagine aliens talking about Twilight for a second? Just think about it.
No thanks.
And he basically wants this universe to be expanded, specifically more so with prequels. Talking about, like, Carlisle, which please God, and how the Cullens got together in the first place. Yeah. And obviously, since it's his character, he would love to see Jasper and Alice as well. And I think, we've talked about this briefly before, about the short films that they've made about this too. And I love it. I'm always in for more, especially prequels and not, like, continuing afterwards, I guess.
Let's just, like, feel out that rich history, you know what I mean?
Agreed. I want it. I need it. Give me more Lee Pace, is all I'm saying. Okay.
That's all anyone's saying. Cast Lee Pace and everything.
But it's like, we already have him as a vampire. Can you just give me an Amazon series of these prequels so you can fully develop them and just go to town. It's all I want. Give me that
London bad boy Lee Pace. Gimme.
That's all I want. Also, I love that in this U.S. Magazine article that we're quoting for this news, they reference Tomato Boy solely as the last Airbender actor, which I feel like is all you need to know.
Sure.
Yikes, McGikes is all I'm trying to say.
Also, they really did a side-by-side of, like,
they did.
And he looks the fucking same.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the only thing different is the hair. But, like, it's the same.
He's still a twink. Like, it's...
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah, he could play his character for the foreseeable future. That's for sure. So I'm here for it. Yeah. That's all I'm trying to say. Cody, what do we have next? What's next?
I like you're just deferring to me for all the news.
I have something in my eye. I think it's misogyny. I don't know.
Oh my god. I think it's the just crushing patriarchy in my head.
I just can't stop rubbing my eye. It's just so painful.
It is misogyny at work. Next, we got, hey, remember Catherine Hardwicke? Because we talked about her,
I do.
like, every week, basically, at this point. Because she's trying to maintain relevancy.
That's so real.
Last time we spoke about her, she was like, "Aw, man, if I had it my way, Twilight would have been cast so diversely." and it wasn't. Now she's
Yeah.
back, baby, with people that she would cast in that fictional universe.
Yeah, she's basically added on to this quote and is like, hey, I know what diversity is. I know 2 women of color's names. And it's like, okay.
She's just, like, making fan fiction at this point. It's just like, oh, here's one woman of color that I know who's been in a movie before. Here's, like...
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Like, so she quoted as being very interested in Amandla and Awkwafina.
Yeah.
And, like, I get it. She's probably talking about them because they are relevant.
Right. Now it's kind of
right
their
now.
year. Right, for sure.
Right. But it's like, you could have chosen anyone.
Any human being. Any person.
It effectively, to me anyways, the quote came off like she looked at a billboard and was like, those people. That's what I want.
I got it. Although I do love the idea of Awkwafina being Alice, as she is mentioning. Just for the fact of, like, her bitching at Bella and being like, hey, cut it out. Like, just be better. And I think that'd be good. I think that'd be a good fit.
That would be very good. Catherine also mentioned just having all of the men of power be recast.
Sure. Fuck them.
They're in my eye anyways. Like, just get them out. And I think that it would be very interesting to see her in the role of, like, a Paul, too. Like, that wouldn't work because keeping the cast indigenous for the werewolves. But I think that, like, her personality would fit that, like, very feisty, down-to-clown kind of character.
Yeah.
Which I like a lot. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I just think that to me, it read wrong. And that just could be because they pulled it out of context. I don't know.
Yeah.
We also have a Screen Rant corner.
Pew, 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 pew.
I'm always so thankful for these. One of my favorite things about getting Screen Rant content, specifically about Twilight, is I've never seen a repeat author from them. And that is my favorite, I think.
Yeah.
It draws in so many questions for me personally. In this one, it's another listicle. Shocking, truly.
Yeah.
This one is 20 things that make no sense about Bella Swan. Are there any of these that stand out to you?
These are all, I mean, yeah, these are all kind of like the irrational things that we've just come to love and also hate about Bella.
Yes.
Like, she has to be turned into a vampire by her first serious boyfriend.
Yes.
Or the whole sleep thing and the stalking thing and the love triangle. I feel like also a lot of these are just her dealing with trauma. Like,
for real.
Self-destruction in New Moon, taking Edward back.
Yeah, all the ones at the like top of the list are
Right.
just, hey, that's just how Bella copes with trauma. So
God, also they use a photo of her when she's like dead, basically, and God, I forgot how horrible that looked.
Oh yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, that CGI like body is
this
rough
fucking
stuff.
chin. It's like
Oh my god.
this jaw situation.
It always kills me, just the contrast between her cheekbones and her lip during that part. But it's fine.
I also can't believe the number one answer.
Agreed.
No, it's literally no vampire birth control. And they're really like, man, what a fucking idiot. She didn't think to research how to not get pregnant from a vampire. It's like, what? What?
Yeah, it felt very much like this is Bella's fault
Right.
because Planned Parenthood doesn't offer vampire birth control. It's like, wait, whoa, wait a second.
Hey, wait a minute.
First of all, I can get supernatural birth control. I need that in general.
Okay,
And
for
then,
real.
second of all, it also works on supernatural creatures. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I want it. But yeah, that one felt weird. Though, I think that it's very interesting that in that first one, like at the very end of the article when they're talking about number one, it's like bolded in a different font, I think, and also larger, that it just says, Edward should have been more diligent and proactive. It's like, okay, all right.
Damn. Fuck, okay.
So that's just where we're at, and also where Screen Rant is at right now.
That's great.
Should we talk about this Dakota Johnson bit?
Yes.
Here.
Let's
Great.
do it.
Tell me about this Instagram post.
Well, Dakota Johnson puts a photo of a phone number written on a piece of paper. Written incorrectly on this piece of paper, I might add. The lines are all fucked up. It looks it's a mess. I hate looking at it. But the sentiment is great because she's like, "Hey, call this number, leave me a voicemail about your experience with like violence and harassment and all these things. And I'm going to listen to them and it's going to be great."
Mm-hmm. I didn't even realize the lines until looking back at this, and now I can't stare at anything else but the fact that
so
it was
jarring.
written that way.
I mean, I just couldn't, like, look at a piece of lined paper and be like, hey, you know what? Let me just fuck this whole thing up. Let me just ruin everything it was built for.
Agreed. That is a lot, and I don't like it. Hey, let's take a break, Dion.
And break. Also, that is her only photo on Instagram at this moment.
Really?
Yeah, I just took a look.
Whoa.
Yeah.
God damn, Dakota.
The fucking first comment I see is, "What about men?" I gotta go.
My eye, again. Oh, God.
It's seeping from your eye into the digital space.
God. Can you... this is so talked about, but I'm looking at this photo right now on Instagram now that I've clicked through.
Yeah.
And there's almost 7,000 comments. And I know that, like, for some celebrities is nothing.
Yeah.
But if I ever, on anything, had 6,000 I would delete everything, I think.
Yeah, I would disable all comments. Like, nope, I don't want anyone to say anything.
Yeah, if it's getting to that point, it's like, I probably don't want to know anything any of you are saying.
Okay, so I've dived deeper onto her
Please.
Instagram. She's following 43 people.
Okay.
Which, wow, that's my dream. Most of them are like magazines or like publications. Some of the only real people on this list are Patti Smith,
Great.
Natalie Portman,
Great.
and Elton John.
Oh.
And also some account that's just called Text from Your Existentialist, which, from what I'm gathering, is text messages over paintings.
Great. Can we talk for just a hot minute about the fact that Elton John is making a movie that's coming out?
Is that true?
Oh, Cody.
Oh boy.
I saw a trailer for it when I went to go see A Star Is Born.
Uh-huh.
It's coming out next year. It's fucking called Rocket Man.
Oh wow, so he's like really doing it.
Yeah, he's like doing the fucking thing. And I think it's like fictionalized, but he's like in on it.
Sure.
So he's like, here's my life, but I'm gonna just make it cooler.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm very excited for it.
Ooh.
I got very hyped when I was at the theater getting ready to see A Star Is Born.
Yeah, that's great.
It's very good. We have a question today
Yeah.
that I'm very excited to know some of your thoughts about. The question is asking, what other media, TV, movies, books, and the like, were you as into as Twilight back when the books and the first movie originally came out? And then this person mentioned an example could be Veronica Mars.
Love that.
Yes, this is very good.
I mean, I was like most people very into Harry Potter. That was kind of my thing. There were dark years when I was into Doctor Who. We're trying to get over that past.
I'm still trying to get over that.
Yeah. Well, now I'm just fucking coming back in because of this lady doctor, because apparently it's great.
It's so good. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so welcome to the Doctor Who corner of regrets. TTYL, that whole series.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Bringing It Back was good.
It's very good.
I've mentioned on this podcast many times before, but Vampire Academy slapped.
It was the slap.
It was the slap.
Yeah, wow. I would definitely have to say Harry Potter for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, I cannot sing the praises of me liking TTYL back then anyways. I think most of those, I would say, are the same. I had a student of mine read Speak this week for the first time, and I feel like that is around the age when I read that.
Yeah.
Too.
I also hated that book when I first read it, but I feel like now I would have a better understanding of it.
I loved that book growing up, and it wasn't until later that I was like, oh,
right,
that's why.
Yeah, sure. I think I know what's going on here.
Yeah, but I think there was definitely a part of me, especially during that first reading too, that I was like, I just don't understand, like, why she doesn't. And then it's like, oh, you are just 12 and do not.
Like, you don't know anything yet.
Yeah. It wasn't until there was a lot of repression that was taken off and also age that it was like, oh, okay, gotcha.
I see.
Those are the only ones that I can think of for the most part. It's not all of them by any means.
Yeah.
But that was about my personality around that time, I would say.
Yeah.
We, unfortunately, have some content to talk about today. It's not all funs and jokes like it is at the beginning of the pod. We do have to get to the content.
It's time to get real, alright?
Hey, let's get real. I'm sitting backwards on a chair.
Yeah. Hey, teens. I'm
just like you.
I'm your cool substitute teacher, and I'm going to tell you about 50 Shades Darker.
And we're going to sing like Gwyneth Paltrow did in Glee. And 3, 2, 1. Yikes. Can you imagine?
Also, that episode was that was entirely irresponsible for her to be there. Like, who let that teacher there?
For real. Didn't she sing the Fuck You cover?
Yes!
By CeeLo Green?
That was the whole sex episode.
Jesus.
So everyone was like, ooh, I don't know. I watched that episode in class, for a class, because it was on sex and television, and I was like, wow, this is horribly irresponsible. I cannot believe this happened.
Hey, let's talk about Glee.
No.
We don't talk about Glee enough.
No, this is too much. We've talked too much.
Alright. Anyway, so let's talk about chapters 19 and 20 today. Yeah. When we left off last week,
Christian was presumably dead.
He
was Schrodinger's Christian.
And God, I wish he had just stayed dead. If we didn't think hard enough, folks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so his helicopter had gone bye-bye, and helicopter bad, Earth gone, Christian bye. And that's what you missed on Glee.
Yeah.
Again, I just need a supercut. Where are all my previously ons? Someone give these to me. I need them.
Please.
I don't want Cody to do this work. You do it. Hey, for once, can you all participate in this space? This book club is real lonely, alright?
This got so hostile.
I bring the snacks every week. Cody brings the goose. Like, what's the point? What do you do? Deborah? Just sit there getting tipsy on wine. You don't even read the book. Get out of my face. Anyways.
I suffered so much for you.
My eye hurts. Anyways, chapter 19. There's so much of this fucking fireplace, Cody. I can't take this chapter serious.
It's like, hey, did you know that I live in a fancy apartment that has a fireplace? Let's focus in on that fireplace one more. Hear me out. Well, the embers from the fireplace are beckoning you.
It fucking kills me, because sometimes it feels like E.L. James is just now learning what narrative techniques are, and then is practicing them in the most heavy-handed way.
Right, yeah.
It's just like, I'm going to have my character fixate on this fireplace, and then everything that she does in this chapter is just going to be flashbacks. It's like, okay, but like, what is the point?
And also, there are, like, people directly talking to her, and she's just like, no, I have to stare into this fireplace, I can't respond to you. Which is fucked, because, like, Anna's known this dude for what, like, 5 weeks at this point? A month, maybe? And, like, she's talking to his actual siblings, or family, people that, like, would have known him his whole life, and would be genuinely sad if he was dead or missing. And they're they're consoling her. Like, they're all just like, oh, honey. And she's like, nope, I have no capacity to speak to anyone. This is all I have. It's over. I'm just gonna jump into the fire. This is it. It's, like, ridiculous.
And instead of E.L. James processing this and explaining it in a way of, like, hey, we all deal with grief in super different ways.
Sure.
She was just like, I'm going to make this super Elizabethan, and it's going to be so heavy-handed. And yeah, it didn't click at all.
Nope.
So yeah. Anyways, the chapter starts off, and Anna's like, I'm just staring at these flames. And then we realize she's just fixating on this fucking fireplace. But yes, so this whole, for most of, I would say, the first part of this chapter anyways, is all of his family worried.
Yeah.
Like, Christian's even on the news, right? Because you have to imagine billionaire, right?
And also the fucking headline is just like, Christian Grey missing. That's it.
Journalism.
Someone find this man. And also, they mentioned at some point he was only missing for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
And they stopped looking for him because it got dark.
Yeah, this, like, billionaire. They were just like, oh, well, we're tired.
Guess that's it. Hey, like, you're not, like, a missing person until it's been, like, a day, at least, right? But also, does the city of Seattle not have lights? Do they not have...
We don't. Sorry.
Just, like, big old flashlights into the sky? Like, what?
No,
we're like,
actually...
sorry, the sky called it a day, so we're gonna go to bed too.
We're really big on our energy consumption here.
Oh my God.
And so when the day becomes the night, we also live in that space.
Sure.
So I am recording this in the dark. And what is happening
Lit
is
by
I'm
a single candle.
one candle that I'm holding like a peasant. My hands are shaking. The flame is quivering a bit. And I'm also just screaming this, hoping that it's being recorded because I'm not using any electricity.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was buck wild too. So we know that, like, there was a crash, right? Which is presumably why this got some sort of news attention.
Yeah.
But then, if it's big enough for them to send a search party out immediately,
Right.
why the fuck would they give up after their 8-hour shift is done?
They're like, well, I think
Man.
it's over.
I don't know, man. The Good Place comes on and, like, I can't miss it.
I can't DVR. We don't have that technology over here.
If
watch
I miss
live. If I miss it, it's over.
If I miss it, it's basically just gone forever. And then how will I possibly know what happens next week? Yeah, it's just like Lost when we were younger, you know?
It's true.
You have to wait for all the reruns in the summer. None of you
Like a
fucking
fool.
kids remember that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, yeah, that was wild.
You're just yelling at your class. It's like,
I'm
you don't know what I've went through.
I'm actually recording this in my class. It's just me screaming at 30 12-year-olds who have no idea why I'm talking to myself. Yes. Anyways, there's a whole bunch of his family here, and Anna's acting like he's the most important person in the whole world, which to her, fair. But then she'll go on and say stuff like, we haven't had enough time. We need more time. We've done so much in the last few weeks. And it's like, Anna, you've known this kid for 2 weeks.
I can't.
They've barely known each other. And every time that she tries to say, like, it doesn't matter how long it's been, it's still so important, it only emphasizes the, like, textbook list of what an abusive relationship looks like.
Yep.
It's like, Anna, stop. But yes, anyways, so all of a sudden, oh yeah, and keep in mind Jose is still there.
Yeah, he's just like hanging out, eating cereal, having a great time. It's like, hey guys, I'm part of this too.
Like, his friend's boyfriend is straight up dead, and he's just chilling in the apartment, has no connection to anybody. It's a mood. Anyways, Christian walks in the door, fairly unscathed from what I could tell. And his family loses it, as you would expect. And Anna is still frozen. She finally realizes that he's alive, and then she's like, oh, now I can cry. But yeah, Christian, being his usual self, does not understand why there's anybody in his home.
Yeah. It's like, what, did I miss something?
And
you throwing a surprise party for me?
yeah, he was actually really hyped when he saw the people here. He was like, and then he realized that they were all just like waiting for him and there was no like gifts or anything.
Yeah.
He's like, oh man, all right. But yeah, so he doesn't accept the fact that they are here because they care about him. Which, okay, Christian, like, all right. We don't have enough time to even unpack this, so
Yeah.
great. E.L. James basically just says that and then moves on. So great. Finally, everybody leaves after Kate's like, wow, I think I missed a lot while I was away. But then that's like all we get. Remember Kate? I miss her. We don't know anything about her, but I miss her.
She's still lost at sea. I know she came back, but she's gone. She's missing.
Yeah, she is still for always on island time, it seems like. We get the story of what happened there, and it seems so buck wild to me, because E.L. James is talking about it, and is like, hey, do you get it? Someone fucked with Christian's fucking helicopter. Do you get it?
It was sabotage. Do you understand me?
Because Christian's
I'm
like,
foreshadowing. Something might happen later. I want you to pay attention.
Christian's like, I don't know. It's the safest helicopter in the whole world. And then all of a sudden,
there's no way.
all the lights came on, and I just had to jump from a mile above the ground, and I survived. And it's like, okay, well, none of this is true, but fine. Anyways, yes, they all leave. Anna's freaking out, as you would expect. And it's, I don't know, cute, whatever. It's pretty gross, if I'm being honest. They do the kissy thing, or whatever. And then Christian's like, let's go take a shower. And she's like, cool. Let's do that. But the one thing that he has to do before he does that, obviously, is take out all of the things from his coat pockets. And so Anna's like, hey, wait, before you do that, can you just open up the gift I got you really quick? And
just real quick.
Just like real
It's midnight, technically, so have birthday.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is why she lets him finally do this. And as she had said before, she didn't know what to get the guy who has everything and can get anything for himself. And so we find out that in that box that he'd had next to his heart was this little keychain with an LED light on it that lit up like the skyline. And on the back was the word yes.
Everything about this sucks.
Yes.
But also, just bad gift. A bad gift.
Objectively, a pretty shitty gift.
Objectively, a horrible gift. Hasn't this motherfucker lived in Seattle, like, forever?
Yes.
Like, he knows what the sky... Like, could you imagine just, like, getting, like, a touristy trinket from your hometown?
I would be so annoyed.
Engraved with, like, the answer to your proposal. That's the worst thing. I would just leave. I would be like, you know what? I take my proposal back. I gotta go.
The thing that fucked me up about this gift is she seemed genuinely very excited about it, as like, this will be an emotional gift, and I'm really excited about it because he can buy whatever he wants, but he can't buy this.
What?
And, but the thing that annoyed me about this gift, aside from everything about it, was when would Christian literally ever have something to put a keychain on? Because he has a driver, and first of all, you think that his apartment opens up by keys and not by him, like, scanning his eye? That's a funny joke. So, like, what would he put a keychain on anyways? I don't get it.
Yeah, none of it makes any goddamn sense.
No, I don't get it. Anna, it's a shitty gift.
Yeah. And also, like, it's a cute little sexist joke about being like, hey, you can't buy me, wink. What are you gonna do next year, idiot? Gonna play the same gag again? Anna?
I would.
Just every year. It's like, hey.
But I would just add words to it. So I'd be like, yes, it's a gift. And
this is a gift. It's like keychain. Exclamation point.
I would get something really fancy, like a trophy engraved, And then just on the back, it'd be like, this is a gift. Yes.
In case you forgot. Correct. Congratulations, you got a gift.
Yes.
Christian you were born.
Is weirdly excited about this. It's not
stoked.
surprising. But yes, he's very stoked. He goes from being exhausted and wanting a shower to being like, oh, you have surrendered a part of yourself to me. Now I am suddenly sexually aroused. Which, great personality traits you got there, Christian.
Yeah. Go to.
It's the worst. My eye is killing me. So, it's so bad. There's other gifts that she has too, but the thing that I wanted to talk about this fucking keychain is the fact that Christian is like, now hold on a second. You gave this to me. You gave this to me before we saw Dr. Flynn. So what does that mean? And she's like, well, I mean, it means what the fuck I meant it to say.
Yeah.
But they're the worst and they don't know how to communicate. They're engaged and they don't know how to communicate.
Yeah. Yeah, because they've known each other for 5 weeks. Remember?
90-Day Fiancé. They do the sex in the shower. Christian is all very excited because apparently the day that Anna no longer has to use condoms while having sex with partners falls on his birthday. Let's just talk about that for a second. Because that's the worst thing.
I love that. I love everything about that. Super great. Super good.
Not at all the actual worst. They have the sex. It's, I don't know, E.L. James's kind of sex, I would say. We kind of know how she does the sex at this point. But the thing that I think is important to talk about is the 2 gifts that she provides for him.
Yeah. Yes.
Because there are 2 other, legitimate boxes that she apparently gives to him as gifts. Could you tell our lovely listeners what those boxes are?
So, one of them is like a helicopter model or something. Like a baby helicopter. Yes. Which, way to, rub in the whole, trauma. Being, espionage in the sky. She fucking loves doing that. What did she give him when she left him the first time? That was,
It was the glider.
The glider, yeah! So she's just like, hey, here's a fucking, small version of something you own. Here you go. What? Who taught you to shop for gifts? These are bad.
They're awful. She can't even blame it on TV because if she even watched QVC would have done a better job of explaining gifts to her.
This is true.
But yes, so she's got that one. The problem is that Christian's definitely kind of like the model train, ship in a bottle kind of dude.
Absolutely.
And so he eats that shit up.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yes.
He's such an old man. What is the other gift that she provides? I had forgotten about this one too until she mentioned the fact that it was way back when we saw all those photos that she had found of his exes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And this is the gift that apparently turned into that.
So, yeah, it's like a bunch of, the greatest hits of kink stuff. She's like, oh, I've been doing my homework. It's like, oh, here's nipple clamps, and here's, whatever. And it's like a wink, hey. And he's like, what? And she's like, you know what I mean. He's like, what? And she's like, you know what I'm talking about.
He's like, I don't understand. Do you want to do the sex with me?
Sorry.
But it's so funny. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of stuff that she had ended up putting in there.
Yeah.
There's his iPod
right.
and his tie. And then she put the key to the playroom in there and she put on a slip of paper in there, wink, wink. She wrote it down on there because she's not subtle. And the thing that I think weirded me out the most about this is, I know it's called a playroom, but then when he responds and he looks at her you want to play. It gave me the weirdest feeling, personally.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but yeah, so he was very excited about that. The one thing that I did not mention is that in this chapter 2, they obviously at some point fall asleep. And then when Anna goes back downstairs, she remembers that Jose had been there the whole time.
Yep.
And so she's having breakfast until she's like, oh, hey, Jose, what's good? You're still here?
Hey, buddy.
And so she decides that she had wanted originally to make breakfast in bed for Christian, but apparently his, like, spidey senses went off about her talking to another man, I guess, because he walks out and makes this, like, weird carnal display in the kitchen for the two of them in front of Jose, and it felt very weird to me personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the last scene there is him, like, opening up the fucking box of the playroom and being like, well, let's do this thing. And Anna is, like, very giddy.
Yeah.
The one thing, too, that I want to mention, because there isn't a lot of good stuff in these 2 chapters.
No.
The only thing I would say that is kind of like a shining light is when they talk about the playroom. And he's like, are you sure? And she's like, well, not the whips and stuff.
Right.
So
She's setting boundaries, which is good.
I'm glad that that is included, because we know that there are some things that she legitimately doesn't like and were a serious part of trauma, I would say, for her from things that Christian's done before. So I'm glad that she's setting those boundaries. But the chapter ends with them going to the playroom.
Hey.
So next week we read the last 2 chapters of this god-awful book.
Yep.
And I am very confused why all of a sudden, when she should be wrapping things up, E.L. James has put in this espionage twist.
Yeah.
Now that I know that we have 2 chapters left and not 4, but
Yeah.
we shall see, I guess. Before we get to our fan fiction today, I do want us to take a second and thank our fantastic patrons.
Ow!
Who this week should be, I was thinking, what, like, NPCs are they in either the Twilight or the 50 Shades universe?
Okay. All right.
So I was thinking that Shannon Clearwater would be one of the journalists in 50 Shades who was like, hey, actually, Christian Grey is missing, shouldn't be on the ticker.
Yeah.
We probably need something a little bit more. And they were like, ma'am, no, it gets the point across.
Shout out to Katie Weber.
Yes.
Who is gonna be the beautiful waiter at IHOP who gave them pancakes so
Oh my
long
Christ.
ago. So long ago.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Well, then, I think... Oh, Simon.
What do we do with you, Simon?
I think then Simon has to be the bartender who had been serving Elliot and Anna just that shit ton of alcohol when they were getting plastered waiting for Christian to come out of the apartment when the ghost girl was there.
I love that.
He was just like, all right, ma'am, I can tell that you need this today. So, that's very good. Thank you all for those. We appreciate those endlessly. I have a very special fan fiction for you today.
Oh, boy.
So, I just want you to buckle up for this. This is called 51 Shades of Benson. And here is the description for this. It is... it's written by Holly Katrina, which, wow, a name of 2 firsts. And it is, the description is a parody of 50 Shades of Grey with an iCarly twist.
Okay.
Now, did you watch iCarly, Cody?
I did, yeah.
Okay, great, because I didn't, so I hope you get this.
Oh my god.
The author, Holly Katrina, which I'm never going to be able to forget that name, does have a disclaimer here when this was posted on December 31st of 2012. The disclaimer here is this. I do not own iCarly or 50 Shades of Grey. No point in suing me. I have nothing except a dream and a laptop and some other stuff. But it's really not worth suing me over. And if I have never related to anything more.
Yeah.
You know, I just have a dream and a laptop.
No point suing.
No point in suing me.
There's nothing. I have nothing.
I have nothing. So this is from chapter 1. I skip back up the stairs and sit back in front of my mirror. My brother Spencer built my room up after he burned it down with some gummy bear lamp. Spencer doesn't live with us anymore. He got arrested for flashing his socks at young girls in the mall. Sam moved in to help me with the bills while Spencer sits out at 17.5-year sentence. I should be sitting at my desk, staring at the notes I've taken this semester and trying to remember whatever it was the teacher was saying, but instead I'm stuck doing Sam's stupid assignment. Apparently, Fredward Benson is super important just because he donated all the computers our college uses. Top-of-the-line Benson computers were a dream of the dean. Oh, and he'll be speaking at our graduation ceremony. His time is apparently much more valuable than mine, but he was nice enough to take his time out of his busy day to allow Sam to interview him. Instead, he'll be getting plain, boring Carly Shay. End scene.
I hated everything about that.
Oh, but did you, though? Because I don't get it. So I'll have to trust you.
Yeah, let me just, like, the last 30 seconds of this. The Fredward in question, that was just, the only, like, dude in the show, basically. Like, is, like, their fun tech friend who, like, filmed the show. And, like, a lot of people, I think, like, if they made fan fiction or, like, shipped them or whatever, like, that was a thing. Oh. Yeah.
It's, like, gross.
But he was also, like, 12, too. Like, everyone else. Like, it was...
Right.
Yeah.
That's fair. All I remember from iCarly, because I didn't watch it, was the brother.
Yeah, so. That's Spencer. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
You ever just flash someone your socks at the mall?
Hey, it'd be like that, you know?
Damn, Daniel. Back at it again with the socks.
Nope. Nope.
Well, you know, as we say in Seattle.
Get bit.
I mean, get whipped, please.
This is an Earbud Media production. You can find us on Twitter at Earbud Media and listen to the rest of our shows. You can find this show on Twitter at Into the Twilight, as well as intothetwilight.show. You can send us an email at intothetwilightshow@gmail.com. You can also become a sponsor of the show or buy some merch at intothetwilight.bigcartel.com. Our art is done by Maddie Padilla, who you can find at YourGhostHost44 on Instagram, and our music is done by Eli Krause, you can find at Eli Sauerkraus and KrauseFilms.com. The intro and outro is by KB Smith, who you can find at KB__Smith on Twitter. You can find Allie on Twitter at Into Wild Places, and you can find me at Dyke Discourse.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.